Hello, I'm Chylli from channel Chylli, also known as Try, and we are back with more depersonalization. Took a little break for a bit, but now we're back to continue more. And this time we're getting into Farhope Park here. Founded in July 1955, Farhope Park was, for over half a century, the town folks' first pick to enjoy a joyous weekend with their families and neighbors, as well as where the cherished moments and memories of their childhood were made. That was until the crimson light emits from the amusement park on a dead July night. Will, this is what you came up with? Yes, this plan is good for both of us. You've been building up your strength and fight with me. And if we continue to fight, we will only cause unnecessary losses to each other. Interesting. So you mean I erase residual consciousness of the main body? And you will transfer the power to me and I will rule this library. Not only that, I will not compete with you for the power of our body. Even every time you fail, I will pay you chrono shards. As long as you participate, you will surely gain comfort. Interesting. What are the conditions? I hope Starkey and you work together. In the recovery process, the ability of the Starkey will play a key role in helping. What a trouble. Anyway, I was idle. I accept this bet. Sotha, did something go wrong with this trip? We can't successfully go to the target time and space now. Yes, because the space-time is a bit special. And is affected by my residual consciousness. And the disaster of space-time has already occurred. Your associates cannot intervene in this history before the disaster. Now, if we want to restore that time and place, we must borrow a Forgamon's power. But their power often only causes more serious disasters. No, now they are obsessed with taking revenge on me. They don't care about other things. At the same time, I will always pay attention to them here. Is there anything else to watch out for? This journey is quite special. Therefore, to assist you, I will grant you more power. I'll project your other associates into this time and space together. Even after resetting the timeline, they will still retain important memories. Nevertheless, this journey is bound to have its challenges. I've made an agreement with a Forgamon that they will assist you at critical moments. Understood. I'm off to discuss with a Forgamon how to work together effectively. Well, I can see that you are a bit reluctant. It's the look of doubt and distrust. Don't worry, I've made sufficient preparations for your mission. But after all, it's the first time we're working together. Chylli, you need to cooperate. I need to complete a task. How do I cooperate? Just any question? The snake in front of them opened its huge mouth and a small part of your body's strength is taken away. Don't get worked out. Although I hate you, I won't break the bet. Sothouth is too conservative. To prevent your consciousness from being affected, they haven't released most of your power. If you want to complete the task now, you'll need a bit of a change. Then you saw him pull a blazing light from the giant snake's mouth and throw it into your body. The ability to break through all obstacles allows you to go anywhere. It is really an inevitable, enviable ability. But your consciousness is too weak now. In order to prevent you from being damaged during the test, I will make a backup for you. Don't worry, it's just a little bit of modification. You'll experience the specific changes lately. The gate is open. Go there now. And here we go. Now we're getting into our level here. In this realm teeming with life yet shrouded in uniform tedium, the rhythm of your existence has fallen into a weary pattern. A yearning for transformation whispers into the labyrinth of your soul that remains shackled by the monotonous chains of reality. At this very moment, an unexpected surprise arrives, a mysterious card of midnight blue, the words on it shimmering with an enigmatic aura. Why endure the shackles of tedium? Commit thy signature and step into a novel dimension. Driven by insatiable curiosity, commit your signature on the mystical card. In the instant your pen lifts, time freezes, the world in front of you shatters into luminescent fragments. Your perception warps, the world becomes a bizarre kaleidoscope. Suddenly you feel like you're plunging, falling uncontrollably into an abyss. It's as profound as the ocean deep, yet also as infinite as the cosmic void. When you regain your senses, you find yourself seated in an immaculate white space. The surroundings manifest as billowing walls cladded in white, Ophidian scale. Before you, a young girl in avant-garde raiment who gazes down at you. Interesting, this vessel managed to traverse our dimension, but whatever, it remains its usefulness remains to be seen. You hear her speaking, but fail to comprehend the events unfolding. As you muster a response, an unnerving moment catches your eye. An unnerving movement catches your eye. What appear to be mere decorative ribbons on her attire slither independently. Only then do you realize they are serpents. Massive white pythons coiling around her arms. One of the serpents opens its vast maw, amassing a petrifying surge of black energy. The surrounding luminous motes are magnetically drawn toward the dark vortex, followed by a terrifying bolt of white lightning striking down from above. Darkness consumes your vision, a fierce wave of vertigo engulfs you. When the dizziness finally subsides, an alien piece of information with no regard for your innate resistance insinuates itself into the very core of your cerebrum. Founded in July 1955, Hope Park was always the town folks' first pick for merriment and festivity. Over half a century, records show that the park operated without any significant incidents. In 2005, the crimson light suddenly emits from the park, and since then, no visitor has managed to escape its confines. Reincarnator, your mission is to investigate the park, uncover the cause of the catastrophe, and prevent further disaster before nightfall. Upon the first acceptance of the mission, you regain your vision, and with it returns the long-absent sensation of gravity. You find yourself standing at the entrance of an amusement park. A silent gaze stands at the entrance of the eerie, empty park. This place is far from what one would typically expect for an amusement park. Though after the gate, a giant poster hangs on the wall, seemingly promoting the park's anniversary. Adjacent to this poster, a ticket booth stands alone, its door open, and yet it remains unoccupied. Let me quickly equip my gear here. There we go, that looks good to me now. An old file box is clearly in the corner. Inside it holds carefully sorted feedback forms with thank you notes from the town. As you peruse through the feedback, you're somewhat taken aback to find that most of the comments have positive energy over the years, however more. The grub here, seriously, it's not up to par. I mean, the food, it's just bad. Dude, this place is falling apart, fix things up. You won't believe what happened, man. I found some nasty food and it's totally wrecked me. Food poisoning. My kid straight up face planted on the messed up road. Do something about this place's safety. Facilities here make me worried. The elevators here, not cool at all. It's sketchy as hell. They need a major upgrade like pronto. Can someone check if these fire extinguishers even work? Safety first, right? Staff here has no manners at all. Buying tickets for the shows is a total pain. Please sort out the ticket reseller mess. Seriously, could you please get off your butts and do some maintenance around here? You also discover a clover in the box, seemingly tucked in alongside some positive notes. To your surprise, his leaves are as green as a freshly picked. You start to wonder when it arrived here. Additionally, there are some tools present. With luck, they may prove useful at some point. Upon entering the booth, you take a quick look around but fail to find anything inside. Or sorry, anyone inside. On the desk is a functional computer surrounded by piles of tickets and forms. Amidst the clutter, you manage to find several shiny stones. You pick up a brochure from the top of the pile. On the computer screen, you see the ticketing system displayed. After a few clicks attempting to understand the operations carried out by the staff, you stumble upon a forum page saved in the bookmark. Hey Skywolf fanatics, you in the know? There's this creepy graveyard hiding just beyond the parks. Huh? No kidding. Can you know more about that? I've got plans to swing by next month. Real talk here, got myself lost in the park as a kiddo and somehow ended up tripping over that graveyard. Felt like I'd stumbled into some weird maze, not what you'd call a fun day out. And get this, word on the street is that eerie place is still kicking about after all these years. If you're buying into rumors, that is. One thing that's been burned into my memory, the name on that grave, Alessio, kind of sends shivers down your spine, doesn't it? Word on the street is that the dude jumped into the lake ending his own life. Oh, I've heard some creepy tales about red eyes glowing from its depths. Wow, I'm noping out of this quite pronto. Actually, get this, a buddy's pal told me it wasn't a suicide at all. Dude was chucked into the lake. She swears she saw it with her very own peepers. Whoa, seriously? But why would anyone do that? It's all about a twisted love story. The gal's family didn't dig Alessio, so they offed him and trucked him into the lake, only to find him crawling right out of the water on a night of the full moon. Scared the bejesus out of her folks, no joke, and then my gal ended up tying the knot with the returned fellow. Got some guts, I say. What? Alessio? Additionally, there are some tools present with some ones they may prove useful at some point. The car's Ferris wheel is featured in the background in bold text proclaims, "The miracle of Farhope Park is about to celebrate its 50th anniversary." Since our establishment in 1955, Farhope Park has been dedicated to crafting a beautiful and magical space for all. We extend our deepest gratitude to every visitor for their support and affection over the years. It's been our privilege to be part of the countless wonderful moments alongside you all. On July 15th, we will commemorate our 50th anniversary with the addition of a brand new attraction. A sky wheel of Far Hope soaring up 100 meters high, it promises an unparalleled view. We cordially invite all our visitors to join us in celebrating this milestone. Expect a host of surprise performances and engaging activities. We eagerly anticipate sharing these special moments with you. On the wall adjacent to the poster, you notice a barely discernible arrow, seemingly printed without much attention. You follow the arrow and find another one pointing toward a trash can. After some searching, you eventually spot the third arrow on a bench next to the can. You follow the arrows and explore the surrounding area. Eventually, you end up at the park's gate again. Tracing the path of the last arrow, you arrive at a window and crouch down. To your surprise, you discover an announcement attached there which intriguingly resembles a treasure map. Announcement: time to become a real hero. Congratulations, you've uncovered the first step of our treasure hunt. This officially marks you as a bona fide treasure hunter. A thrilling treasure hunt awaits. Extract the sword from the stone and become the real hero of our park. A new adventure is on the horizon. May joy and kindness accompany you on this journey. It's not too hard to find a usable vessel to collect water in the park. You managed to find several bottles and fill them with water from the fountain. Guided by the sound, you spot a clown not too far from the square. That's where the humming comes from. His left arm is holding a tourist, while the right arm, holding a brush soaked with blood, paints a chilling smile on the tourist's face. The clown appears to be in high spirits. The moment he spots you, a warm smile spreads across his face, and his gaze meets yours with a sense of care. Look, he's here, another spiritless tourist. What's troubling you? Come on, let's turn that frown upside down in the happiest place around. The clown seems to be pondering a solution. Could it be that you just need to have a bit more fun here? Let me guide you. Would you prefer something thrilling, or perhaps you're in the mood for something more relaxing? You tell the clown that you crave something spine-chilling. With a roll of his eyes, he murmurs in unsettling contemplation. Spine-chilling, chilling. I see, so you want to be part of that too. The clown mutters under his breath for a moment before lunging toward you abruptly, his crimson smile-stained lips parse, sending words into your ear. It will be chilling. Then he retreats to his previous spot, embellishing the last corpse with a ghastly grin. But you must bide your time, and so preparing the scene. Once complete, you may proceed in this direction. The clown points toward a nearby path with a grin on his face. Upon ensuring you've taken note, he begins to hum a memory as he saunters toward the square. You can pull your map. The road leads directly to the dreaded funhouse. As you approach the bench, the stench of blood hits you first. You find those tourists who've long since passed away. Their bodies are riddled with slash wounds, their flesh grotesquely torn, and blood is splattered all around. Upon closer inspection, you also notice that someone has drawn smiles on their faces. Forcing back their rising unease, you study your hands and lift their eyelids to estimate how long they've been dead. To your surprise, their eyeballs have turned completely crimson. While inspecting the bodies, one of them suddenly slides off the bench, revealing a piece of newspaper hidden beneath. You manage to extricate it carefully from the body and begin to read. It appears to be an exclusive. After the storm, Madame Rosa upholds justice, restoring normalcy to Far Hope Park. Following the wave of rumors that swept through us some time ago, Far Hope Park has successfully navigated its crisis and emerged with renewed vigor. Recently, the park owner, Madame Rosa, granted our reporter an exclusive interview. According to Madame Rosa, the park became the target of numerous rumors and slanderous accusations this year following her refusal to sell the park's land to the Visconti family. The Viscontis allegedly retaliated by circulating rumors intended to disrupt the smooth operation of the park. While the rumors initially misled many town residents, leading to a high volume of complaints and reports that put the park in a precarious position, Madame Rosa and her team responded courageously. They actively collected evidence and engaged law enforcement while continuing park operations. Ultimately, their efforts paid off and they emerged victorious. Madame Rosa affirmed that the park would persist in its commitment to providing a pleasant and safe experience for tourists, demonstrating her resilience and confidence as a leader. The interview was conducted at Madame Rosa's estate, and during our conversation, we gleaned deeper insights into this formidable manager and the true nature of the incident. As we conclude, we send our best wishes for a rapid recovery to Madame Rosa and eagerly await her continued stewardship toward a brighter future for the park. You managed to retrieve an axe from one of the deceased tourists. You step into the square, your eyes are immediately drawn to the striking centerpiece, a grand fountain. At sight of it, you spot a giant sword deeply embedded in the stone. Just as you're about to make your next move, you hear the sound of metal scraping the ground. Not far away, a group of crazy tourists stagger toward you. At the bottom of the fountain, you find a small quiche, several shining stones, and a smattering of scattered blades. After several attempts and near misses the well fight with falling into the water, you finally manage to retrieve everything. Upon inspecting the small key, you notice a P insignia on it. You got the administrator's key now. You push the stone on the right, the giant sword is seemingly a prop embedded within it. There's a striking resemblance to the one depicted on the treasure map. After several attempts and a bit of time, you manage to extract it from the stone. Alright, let's head down to the funhouse now. Using your map, you arrive at the funhouse. The entrance door is adorned with a mock gargoyle head. Despite the door being firmly shut, strange melodies leak out, filling the air with an uneasy tension. Just as you summon the nerve to push open the door, it unexpectedly swings open from the inside. A horde of tourists bursts out from inside, their eyes emit an unsettling crimson glow and their clothes are marred with bloodstains. The menacing weapons clutched in their hands suggest it's far from a welcoming party for you. Upon spotting you, they lurch forward, their bloodshot eyes locked onto you. Their shrieking weaponry skims the ground. Your brow furrowed at the sound grating your senses. Just then, the clown pushes his way out of the crowd, raising his voice to... Hey folks, our trip at the funhouse is coming to an end. Time to move on to our next destination. His action seizes everyone's attention. He ushers the group away inside. Oh, I'm done with the scene. Now I need to lead these people to another attraction. Enjoy your stay here. The crowd appears to disregard your presence entirely, their focus riveted upon the clown. He appears to revel in their enthusiasm, deftly guiding them in a different direction with his flamboyant gestures and commanding words. Yes, is that so? I didn't anticipate such popularity in this place. The clown talks to the tourists with passion and leads them away. Thank you well. Really, you came all the way only to see my show? My goodness. The clown herds them away, seemingly leading them to the square, his words gradually becoming indistinct as they fade into the distance. The surroundings are shrouded in the darkness. Spooky music reverberates in the air. Opening the gate unveils a narrow, elongated passage from which metallic knocking sounds emanate from a side path. You proceed just a few steps further and spot a nearest statue on the sideway. There are several rooms scattered about, each as dark and haunting as a prison cell. The statue is essentially a full-body rendition of a gargoyle's head. Of the gargoyle's head adorning the entrance gate. It features crimson eyes and a grotesque expression, sharp fangs that glint silver like those of a vampire and a deep hole in its chest. You draw closer to the statue and emits a dreadful roar, which you can tell is coming from the built-in recording. On its chest, you can see a deep hole. Maybe you can stab something inside. You plunge the great sword into the statue's chest. A sound effect resembling a dying gasp emanates from within it as the recording plays. A glass heart falls from the statue's body, accompanied by several shining stones. Toward the end of the passage, you uncover a hidden room. You try to open this door only to discover that it's locked. Thanks to the dim lighting, you're able to discern a keyhole on it. You press your ear to the door and hear some form of noise, but you can't tell what it is. After a moment, a cracking sound puts you on edge. Rooms here are arranged like prison cells. Old books are strewn about in the room. On the floor. Upon closer inspection, you realize that these books are cheap purchases from a flea market and used merely for decoration. Among the clutter, you discover several peculiar scrolls. Guided by the sounds, you go to the half-open door and cautiously peep through it. A formidable figure is standing there before you, back turned. Hands golden cool are coiled around its massive form with a brutal efficiency, hewing several lifeless bodies in the room's beam. Each motion he makes You fumble a few times attempting to fit the key into the keyhole on the enveloping darkness. Finally, with a satisfying click, the door is opened. You find a hidden room. Just by observing his back, you can sense the bloodlust red radiating from this man. He is tall, and the skillful yet coarse movements of his hands as they handle the bodies reveal his perilous nature. You approach him, attempting to initiate a conversation. Seemingly alerted by your footsteps, the man violently tosses the bodies, handling aside. The loud thud as the body hitting the counter echoes throughout the room. Without any hesitation or missteps, he swiftly swings his chain toward you. And there we go, we got some more star stones there. The executioner crumbles to the ground. He reaches out his hand, clawing out some invisible presence. With one last raspy breath, he lets out a sigh. Lady. His voice, heard for the first and tragically final time, reverberates in the air, then his body vanishes into a cloud of mist. He disappears, something drops to the ground where he has vanished, making a crisp sound. There, a cloud of red mist billows out, swirling and turning in midair. After a while, as though it lost its host, the red mist dissipates into nothingness. Three bodies are left hanging from the beam. Upon closer inspection, you find these bodies are actually pieced together from different parts. As they were not carefully assembled, broken bones pierce through the flesh and protrude through the bodies, resembling monstrous thorns sprouting out. There are 3 pieces of cloth scattered around the table. As you inspect them, you find a note on one of the pockets. This note is illustrated with instructions and tips on how to make various instruments of torture. As you pick up the note, a damp and sweet scent reaches your nostrils. The cramped room is cluttered with a hodgepodge of miscellaneous items. It seems to serve as a storage area for the staff. You find a girl lying on the cold floor, apparently unconscious. Several chests are scattered around her. Upon examining the chest, you discover props typically used in decorating the funhouse. Next to one chest, a shattered mask catches your attention. The strange thing is, the broken part of the mask is akin to a death's footprint. You approach the girl, conducting a swift examination. You find no signs of physical trauma, so she seems to have merely fainted or passed out. After several gentle nudges, she remains unconscious, but you notice a whisper of red mist seeps from her body, diffusing into the surrounding air. The young girl's attire is decorated with some vintage accessories, hinting at a fashion that hails from the previous century. Freshly awakened and evidently exhausted, she grapples to sit upright, her body betraying a profound weakness. She casts a disoriented glance in your direction, apparently still ensnared by the languor from which she emerged. How did you get here? Bypassing her query, you inquire about her reasons for being in this eerie place, and if she has any recollection of what happened before. I don't quite remember. A mask of struggling confusion settles on the girl's face. After an agonizingly long pause, she finally begins to speak in a hesitant whisper. My name is Chylli. I'm here to look for my parents. Your parents are in the park too? Yes, we reside in the manor at the park's back hill. Suddenly a flash of realization sparks in Julia's eyes. She bolts upright, her gaze darting past you and scanning the surroundings anxiously. Only after confirming that they're in a relatively safe environment, she does allow herself to relax quietly. I remember now, there was a man with a scary mask. He's been pursuing me and confined me here. Julia lowers her gaze, visibly petrified at the prospect of the menacing man lurking outside. She wrings her clothes in anxiety before finally gathering enough courage to meet your eyes. I know this is a sudden request, but is it possible you could please escort me back to the manor? You choose to extend your assistance. Julia provides you with the detailed directions to the manor. Okay, I think this is a new dialogue here. Yes, and he notices your presence and flashes you an excited smile. It's the first one here, but oh well. Oh, speaking of which, some of these folks nearly came to blows me over. What a guilty man I am. While speaking, the clown suddenly narrows his eyes and studies you intensely as though recognizing. His expression morphs into one of pride. It's you, how did it go? Should have come here earlier, right? But let me tell you, what you've seen so far is just the beginning. There's more remarkable stuff yet to come. The clown's smile widened, his excitement grows palpable as he begins to speak at an even brisker pace. Oh wait, there's one more stop on this journey. The tourist's vacant eyes remain fixed on some distant point, seemingly detached from the immediate surroundings. The clown completes his final crimson painting with precision before wiping his hands in satisfaction. It's all done here. I'll prepare the scene for you. Once complete, you may proceed in this direction. The clown points toward a nearby path before eagerly departing from the square. On we go to the sky wheel here. You're right at sky wheel, and honestly you don't even need a map, it's just too big to map. You looking out from below, this colossal structure is incredible, like you could almost reach out and touch the stars from here. But just as you're transfixed by the sky wheel, a strange eerie howl pierces your ear. You whip around to see a grotesque face suddenly getting way too close, his bloodshot eyes staring you down. You take a couple of steps back in a panic and find yourself face to face with a visitor who seems oddly out of place. Behind him, there's a large group of equally weird-looking people. Their clothes are soaked with blood in their... Just as you're about to react, the clown hastily pushes his way out of the crowd, disheveled yet hospitable. He waves at the crowd. Hey, wrong way, folks, over here, over here. A bunch of weirdos stagger toward the clown, their bloodshot eyes lock onto him, their screeching weapons scrape the ground. The clown leads them toward the square, yelling back to you. Hey, Skywheel is already running, hop onto yourself, I'm taking these super eager tourists to the next attraction. The frenzied tourists lunge at the clown, a hatchet is swung wide and thrown his way, but it misses the target by a hair's breadth and slants into the earth nearby. The clown leads them on to ever closer chase while engaging in a rather bizarre conversation. Oh wow, you guys are way too enthusiastic, but just so you know, our company has no gifts from tourist policy. Is that so? Ha ha ha. The clown hurries them away, seemingly leading them to the square. His words gradually become indistinct as they fade into the distance. You freeze the moment to slip into one of the cabins at the entrance. As Skywheel slowly starts turning, the cabin begins to rise and your vision climbs higher. Suddenly, a ding-ding crash echoes from above. It seems like a few bits and pieces have fallen out of the cabin's roof and rolled away. This rattles your nerves as the entire cabin starts to shake with Skywheel's effect. The cabin sways back and forth, you keep a wary eye on the outside. Fortunately, despite the shuddering, there's no actual accident. Julia leans gently against Skywheel's window, gazing down at the ever-shrinking amusement park until it shrank into a patchwork of tiny rectangles. This place seems to be just an empty lie, you know. Nobody thought they'd ever build a park here. My father's plans for this Ferris wheel had been collecting dust forever. I thought they'd never finish it. But then in just a few days they managed to put it out. Pretty impressive, huh? Julia is captivated by the park below, her fingers unconsciously tracing patterns on the window. A warm and nostalgic smile graces her face, a smile that hints at fond memories. How you've always lived in Far Hope Town? Of course, I've been here my whole life. It's just Julia suddenly trails off, her face turning into one of deep contemplation. As Skywheel slowly descends, Julia's conflicted look turns into one of anxiety. You quickly change the topic and lead Julia off, holding her hand. The souvenir stall displays a myriad of items, colorful balloons, toys, and all kinds of bottles and jars. One exquisite jar catches your attention. It gives off an exotic fragrance that invigorates your senses. The sky wheel soars at least 100 meters high, as if it could touch the sky. You can draw something peculiarly exotic from the souvenir stall beneath it. To your left, you can see a control room. It appears this is where Skywheel can be operated. Here, what's the most prominent is the console with colorful buttons and levers. You carefully search around and find some cables and spare parts. You stand before the control panel, the heart of the console. Buttons, switches, levers, and other control devices galore, all ready to start, stop, and speed and direction control. Skywheel gradually slows down, finally coming to a creaky stop. The winch ceases its whirring and leaving only the cabins in the air, swaying ever so slightly. Why? Why isn't anyone interested in my performance anymore? They all loved it before. The clown appears dejected as he stares at his feet, his shoulders slumping and his tone laced with distress. I led him to the funhouse, the popular funhouse. Normally there's quite a long wait in line to experience it. I poured so much time into the scene and they didn't even make it halfway through. All they wanted was to get out. And that Skywheel, the renowned Skywheel of Far Hope, the premier attraction in the entire town, I thought they would love it. But they didn't even want to ride it. The clown is getting even more upset. The once beaming smile turns into an expression of sadness. His costume makes him look even more decadent. I thought they were just too tired, so they gave it my all. Jokes, magic tricks, and even acrobatics. But no matter how much effort I put in, no one would laugh. How did things end up like this? It was so different before. It's been ages since the lady last spoke to me. Did I do something wrong? Just as you brace yourself for your next move, a red mist gradually engulfs the area. Various buildings and facilities are veiled by the mist, making it increasingly difficult to see clearly. Black silhouettes are floating in the red mist as if trapped in an eerie dream. You begin to feel dizzy as if your consciousness is drifting away from your mind. The red mist envelops you, seemingly eager to claim you as its own. Yet the spice radiates a sweet yet strange aroma. You muster your strength, barely managing to maintain focus. Fortunately, you still retain control over your actions. Under the red mist, the park takes on a nightmarish hue. A figure appears as the clown. His eyes are a devilish scarlet, shimmering with unsettling malevolence. Spotting you, he charges toward you, his laughter echoing maniacally at the... Okay, so I just need the last 3 turns here before I can attack him. And now I can finally kill him, I believe, here. The malevolent aura seems to have evaporated from the clown. Now he lays in a pool of his own blood, struggling to flash one last smile as life steadily flits away from him. I'm so sorry. I lost control over myself. Now I just want you to know. You crouch down to catch his final words. With his last ounce of strength, the clown lifts his bloodied hand and draws one final shaky grin on his lips. His last breath escaping. I realized it ever since you arrived. You seem too occupied to truly enjoy this place. You try to take his injuries, but he's hurt so bad there's no hope of recovery. Just remember to smile. Upon uttering his final sentence, his hands drop weakly to the ground. His eyes, once animated with exaggerated expressions, now lay open lifelessly, vacantly gazing up at the sky. His body lies still, submerged in a pool of blood, the flicker of life extinguished forever. Left entirely in his grubby costume, you stare at his face, still smeared with clown makeup. It dawns on you that you've never beheld his true visage, or his true visage, or however you want to pronounce it. The cloud of red mist rises from his lifeless body, hanging in the air for a moment before dissipating along with the body. In the place where he vanished lies quietly a blood-red shard. The truck seems to have crashed into the wall with great force, and the red mist appears to have permeated the surrounding area. Upon investigating the wreckage, you find several cans of gasoline, assorted food items, and alcohol. You strive to stay composed and assess your condition. Thankfully, nothing out of the ordinary appears to be happening. Anyway, that's where I'm gonna leave it off for this video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time when we continue with more depersonalization. Until then, bye!